And moving to Japan, where scorching heat is engulfing the entire nation. Nation is witnessing record high temperatures in some areas. More than 250 people were taken to hospitals for heat stroke treatment over the weekend. The problem is the power shortage for industry and people. The government has warned of possible power shortages in Tokyo region, asking people to conserve energy. This as country endures an unusually intense heat wave. In north of Tokyo, temperature has risen to 40.2 centigrade on Saturday, highest ever for June. Temperature in downtown Tokyo was up to nearly 35 degrees centigrade. Much of Japan would normally be experiencing rainy season at this time of the year. However, this time Japanese Met Department and agency has declared season already over in Kanto and Koshin area. This is the latest and easiest end to the season since 1951. And a full 22 days earlier than usual. The rains usually temper summer heat, often well into July. Met Agency also attributed heat wave to hot air coming from powerful high atmospheric pressure system which is stalling over Pacific Ocean. Industries are also being impacted. People are not able to go to work. That's also being reported. The government has called upon the nation on Monday to save electricity due to possible power shortage. This amid sweltering weather. The Economy and Industry Ministry urged people living in Tokyo to conserve power in the afternoon, especially when demand peaks between 4 to 5 p.m. Power supply is relatively tight after Japan idled most of its nuclear reactors after 2011 meltdown in Fukushima. It has also been closing down old coal plants to meet promises for reducing carbon emissions. Japan also faces potential shortage of fossil fuel imports owing to Western sanctions against Russia over Ukraine invasion. And for more on this, our correspondent Phoebe has sent a report from Tokyo. Take a look.
Well, the reaction is almost business as usual in terms of Japan has been issuing supply warnings in the past. And the reason for this is that Japan has very little energy in supply reserves. And these kind of power warning advisories are issued when the reserve power supply drops below 5%. And the government had already given the public a heads up earlier this year that it was forecasting potentially, even during peak demand with air conditioning during hot temperatures, that this supply rate could drop to around 3.1%. Anything below 3% is considered a risk of a blackout. And just to wind back in time a bit, and this is not just a situation that occurs during hot weather. If we go back to March, where there was an significant earthquake near Tokyo, infecting many households, that knocked some of the power plants offline, and then we did hear warnings against potential power blackouts. Now, fortunately, there hasn't been any blackouts today, although the government did maintain a warning to try and save power between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. But this was very much tempered by the fact that temperatures are close to record highs for this time of year, and there are concerns over heat stroke. Again, looking back over recent years, we've seen increasing numbers of people being admitted to hospital and also passing away due to heat stroke related illnesses. Back in August 2020, it was a record in Tokyo in which nearly 200 people passed away during hot weather. So the government really is having to strike a very careful balance here.
WION now available in your country. Download the app and get all the news on the move.